Good morning, friends. This is P. Krishnamurthy, lecturer in English, working at Government Degree College for Women, WANAPARTHY. So, I would like to invite all of you to this video class, and we have been doing a lot of things in the videos, which is very useful to the general students and as well as to the students who are pursuing UG courses. Today, in our class, as a part of conversation, we are going to talk about interview skills. The term interview, it's a ubiquitous term for everyone. Everybody knows about this term very well. Soon after the completion of UG or after the completion of PG, every student is going to face interview in one way or the other way. That's why there is every need to know how an interview is going to be conducted, what exactly the interview is, what do you do in interview, what happens in interview. All these things that we are going to discuss today. So under the so topic called conversation under the heading of interview skills. Dear friends, so I would like to create an idea in our minds, and of course you do have some idea about this topic in our minds, because everybody speaks about this one in the society, especially in the 21st century. This is a common topic. Wherever you see two or three uneducated people get together and they just keep on talking about this topic, and that common topic is nothing but about interview. What is an interview? Interview is an activity where interviewer is questioning interviewee, and interviewee is providing some answers to the questions of the interviewer. This is only, you may just ask me a question. Why is an interview conducted? Why is an interview conducted? Yeah, we are living in the competitive society. Jobs are very few. Competition is very high. That's why everywhere competition takes place. You need to prove your talent. The people who run companies, the people who run organizations, the people who are running successfully their institutions, they would like to employ the people who have got exact skills. That's the reason why is an interview conducted. They would like to appoint the most suitable educated people in their companies, and they would like to improve their growth, company growth, just by creating employment to the educated unemployed, either in the government sector or in corporate sector or in private sector. So this interview is a common phenomenon wherever you go, whenever you are in need of any job, wherever you are in seek of any job, definitely you have to go through this phase. Otherwise, I think you can't get very respectable job for everything, even for contract jobs, even for outsourcing jobs, even for permanent jobs, and these are the common things that are taken place. You may ask me, what is the importance of interview? Yeah, there is a very importance of interview. The educational institutions that are being run in our society, in our country, they don't maintain so equal standards. A student who gets A grade in the examination in one particular educational institution may not be equal to another student who gets A grade in some other institute. That's the reason, though we have common curriculum, though we have common syllabus, though we have a lot of educational institutions, so though we have universities, but the standard that varies from person to person, that varies from institution to another institution. That's why interview is conducted to find out whether the job seeker possesses, whether the job seeker possesses the quality of this employment or not, whether he is eligible to perform the duties in the job. They would like to test, because all the time some people, they are prone to write, keep on writing and speaking. They do not have the skills of employment. That's why in the interview, the interviewers are going to test all major skills of the candidate, and that is the importance of the interview. Are the interviews needed in job sector? Why not? We have been talking about this one very clearly. In employment scenario, in job sector, and interviews are needed. The competition is very high. There a few jobs are there. Lot of members are there to compete for those few jobs. Naturally, so they will they have to select the most eligible candidates for the concerned jobs. That's why they have different phases of elimination. Maybe in certain banking exams, or maybe in software jobs, maybe any corporate jobs. Their level of selection of the candidates, it's quite tough. You can't even just imagine also. So first phase, second phase, third phase, fourth phase, like that. The final phase of any competition is nothing but interview. You may have knowledge, you may perform written skills, you may perform certain skills also, but whether you possess that character for the employment or not, and that is going to be decided just without seeing you, without talking to you, without putting some questions to you. It's very blind to appoint a person based on any written skill. This is my personal opinion, without just making any interview to any person. If that person is selected for any job and you don't have any contact with him, and how do you assess his skills? Just by only uh, giving a job on the basis of the written examination. Because the employee is supposed to go into the society, is supposed to go and serve the public at that time. So he needs to have certain skills to tackle the various issues in the public. Suppose you are going to be appointed as bank officer. So it's a white collar job, but you have to listen to the farmers in the villages. You have to listen to the people. You have to listen to the customers, and you have to create new ideas in what way that you can extend your services to the customers. That happens. So that's why the interview board is going to test whether the candidate possesses all these qualities or not. So, do the interviews have any specificness? Of course, every interview board has got specific quality of appointing the most eligible candidates for the jobs. Every, of course, no, this is the common idea in all the interview boards. Their main intention, idea is only to select the most eligible candidates. That is the specific quality of the interviews. Of course, the level of testing, the level of asking questions, the level of conducting interviews, it varies from one board to another board. Sure, in at one level that may be very easy task, but for certain jobs, suppose in India, the highest recruitment is Indian civil services. When a candidate is getting through that interview and is the most efficient or says the most efficient administration that people think about him and her. That's the reason interview will be conducted. The members in the interview board, they are going to test all kinds of capabilities of the candidate who is going to be appointed for this specific job. So they may question you maybe for so half an hour, maybe for 1 hour. They would like to test whether the candidate is going to be suited for that particular job or not. That's the reason I would like to say that one. The interviews have specificness depending on the employment that is going to be created for them. What could be the intention of the interviews? People in the society and most of the unemployed are the people who got education and who are applying for jobs. They have got a wrong opinion about the interviewers. So the intention of the interviewers, it's not very bad. The intention of the interviewers is only to select the most eligible candidates for the jobs specified. They are not there only to create any problems at all. They are there to select the eligible candidates. That idea has to be developed in the minds of the unemployed or the candidates who are appearing for interviews. They have to go with a positive mind only. They should not go with a negative mind that they are going to ask very difficult questions. Their intention is not to select. It's a very, very stupid idea if anyone possesses this kind of idea. That's the reason. So this is a very brief introduction about these interviews. And when we go very deep into the topic, and some people they have certain doubts. Who is an interviewer? Who is an interviewer? Who is the interviewee? Interviewer is one who is going to pose questions, who is asking questions to the candidates who are appearing for interview. Interviewee is one who provides answer to the questions of the interviewer. There must be clear cut idea. It should be very clear in the minds of the candidates who are going to appear for the interview, who are going to write any competitive examinations. These two terms are very, very important terms. So interviewer, interviewee. Interviewer is the organization. Interviewer is the person or a group of members who are going to select you. Interviewee is one who is going to seek employment in any organization, whether it could be government, private, or corporate sector. It doesn't matter at all. So that's the reason. How will be the atmosphere in the interview hall? This is a $1 million question. Most of the candidates who are appearing for interview, they have this kind of idea in their minds. What could be the atmosphere in the interview hall? Nothing like that. People feel that they horrify. The interviewers horrify the students. Once you get into the hall and they pose very difficult questions that you can't answer. And that kind of idea is framed in the minds of some of the people. It's not like that. It's very, very cordial atmosphere and they never create any kind of tension in you. They are not there to create any anxiety in you. They are not there to create any trouble to you. It's a very pleasant one. And so the interview board members, they are very friendly. They are going to listen to you. They are going to ask very formal questions, sometimes even informal questions too. The atmosphere is going to be very pleasant. That we have to think in a positive manner. Now, false fears and phobias about interviews. False fears and phobias about interviews. Yeah, this has been there in the minds of the candidates. Whenever interview is going to be conducted, they have a lot of false fears, phobias in their minds. Yeah, the interview members, The members in the interview board, they are going to create a lot of horror inside of the hall. They are going to put a lot of difficult questions, and I can't answer all the questions. Don't get yourself get into anxiousness. Don't be very anxious about all these things only. Don't be very fearful about this one. Don't develop this kind of negative thoughts. It's all false fears only. They are not there to create any problem to you. They are they look like very friendly. They look they look like your friends only. They create a good platform for your expression. They would like to listen to your opinion. They would like to share their ideas with you also. They're not going to create any fear in you. So, my own intention and my own idea to all the friends who are going to appear for any interview, you try to change your perspective way of thinking towards this interview. You try to develop that positive attitude towards your interview. Don't develop any negative ideas about these interviews. If when you have that negative idea, so naturally you can't perform very well. Though you know the answers, because of anxiety, because of tension, because of stress, you may not give the correct answer in a very logical manner, in a clear manner. And that's the reason that, candidates, though they possess a lot of skills and abilities, sometimes they fail in the interviews. A candidate who performs very well in the written examination, who scores 80% of marks in the written examination, but he proves and he performs very uh, cheap in that interview. And what is the fact? So we come to know that he fears about that one. He has got negative ideas about that interview board. And some of the people in the interview board, in the interview, some candidates who entered the hall for going to be interviewed, they just ask, "Sir, this is going to be reserved for that one. I know very well this job is reserved for somebody else. I know that you select on the basis of recommendations." Some people they say like that. It's not like that. It's not like that. So, uh, no interview today is conducted on that basis that everyone has to understand it. So, do you have any fears and phobias about that one? If you have any fears and phobias about any interview, you try to clear all those fears and phobias regarding interviews and try to make yourself very, very protected, positive to face the interview. Need to update interview skills. Now we are in the 21st century. We are in the global society. We are in the modern society. We are in the competitive world that there is every need to improve your interview skills. There is every need to update your interview skills. You can't just say that only what's your name, what is your father, so where are you coming from, and are you a member in Telangana state, are you coming from AP, are you coming from Gujarat, and all these are all the formal questions. Those questions have become very common, and you are not going to be selected on those questions only. Remember, you are in this competitive world. How best you do, and that is going to be matter for you. It's not the question that just I have given all the answers regarding my name, my educational, all these things, my grades and all those things, my percentage. So I don't feel that you are going to get selection for that one only. You must have specific knowledge about the area which is going to be asked in the interview board. That's the reason I would like to say to all the members that you have to update your interview skills. Then only you can think that definitely optimistic result is going to come to you. You have to be optimistic. So mere becoming optimistic is not going to get good result. You have to update your skills. When you go for any software engineer job, so when somebody asks you what is, so do you know Microsoft industry? Who is the so Microsoft industry? So that's what you call the general manager or maybe that CEO. If any question appears, suppose you are going to appear for the post of software engineer, and when somebody asks a question like that, who is the CEO of Microsoft. When you say that Microsoft, I have no idea about this one. And who is the CEO of this Google? So if somebody asks a question like that, when you say that, when you keep quiet, how do you think that you are going to be selected? Is it a right way to think like that? Sir, I got some A grade, I got distinction, I got 90% of marks in my BTech degree. I know very well that I am going to be selected for the job that has been specified, that has been notified. No, it's not like that. Sorry, my dear friends, So if you have that kind of idea that you are not going to be selected with that kind of only grade that you scored only in the BTech degree, it's not like that. You have to say that the CEO of Google is Sundar Pichai, the CEO of Microsoft, so he is no other than Satya Nadella. Like that, you have to say. When you give the answers, they think that he is updated, is a man who has got updated knowledge, and he or she is going to be suitable for this job, and you know that you are going to get a job. So huge competition is there. Why we need to update our skills? You have to prove your ability in this high competition. You have to perform your abilities comparing to better to that of other candidate who is contesting for the same job. And job positions also, some job positions are very high profile jobs are there. You don't have that kind of, if it is a very ordinary job, so it is going to be adjusted. When you are going to be appointed as a general manager for any company, when you are going to be appointed, so for the post of so manager in a, so any banking sector, when you are going to be appointed so as the executive personnel in any company, definitely all your skills are going to be tested. That's the reason the members in the interview board, they are going to test you thoroughly. They are not there to create any so fear in your mind, in your heart. They are there to test you. They are going to see whether this particular person is eligible for the post that has been notified, and that's all. That's the reason all the candidates who are aspiring to be in the safe positions, they have to update their so interview skills. Now the lifestyle is changed. Earlier, if one individual gets a government job or any private job, he or she is going to be contented whatever that has been so there. But today, lifestyle is changed. So because it's very costly today. When you stay in a city like Bangalore, when you stay in a city like Hyderabad, when you put up in a city like Delhi, you need to earn a lot of money. You need to cope up with the standards of the modern standards of life. For that one, so you have to keep on growing from one position to another position. Suppose you are appointed as assistant manager, do you want to continue in the same post for years together? This is too much. You can't be like that. You have to change your lifestyle. As the lifestyle is also changing, you have to change from one job to another job. You have to acclaim to the higher position so that you can change your lifestyle. And that is the reason that I say that. So whenever you are called for any interview, you just go with full knowledge, with all updated knowledge. So think that you are going to be selected, and think that you are going to be interviewer. What kind of the questions that are going to be asked? If you happen to be the interviewer, what kind of the question that you ask to the candidates who wish to appear for the interview? So when you create all these things in your mind, when you leave all unwanted things, unwanted phobias and fears in your mind, naturally you are going to achieve success in the interview. And interview skills, however it might be, but today I'm going to talk about. So there are two steps. So there are two steps of acquiring good interview skills to get success in the interviews. If any candidate, or if any number of candidates are going to appear for interview, they have to keep these two steps in the mind. When you have two steps in their mind, when you practice all these two steps in the mind, definitely I'm sure that you are going to success. You are going to get success in the interviews. Today we are going to talk about the two steps of acquiring good interview skills to get success in interviews. They are preparing for an interview, facing an interview. These are the two important things. These are the two important stages. So they have to keep in their mind before appearing in the interview. So preparing for an interview. People cannot, I want to prepare for examination, I want to prepare for examination, I want to prepare for an interview. So when you prepare for an examination, you just read from first page to last page. You just categorize which are very short questions, which are long questions, which are the expected questions, which are the possible questions. When you segregate all the questions like that, so accordingly you prepare for the examination. In the same way, whenever you are called for any interview, you must have these two steps in your mind. Facing for an interview, so preparing for an interview and facing for an interview. So now we are going to study these two steps. So when you are thorough with these two steps, definitely I'm sure that you are going to success in that one. The first one, preparing for an interview. This is the first and foremost thing that every candidate has to prepare very well, and that's called preparing for an interview. Preparing for an interview. Points to be remembered while preparing for an interview. You must keep all these 10 points in your mind before appearing for the interview. What are those? Brush up on the subject related to the interview. Suppose you are going to be interviewed for the post of VRO, Village Revenue Officer. So the post is Village Revenue Officer. So you need to brush up the subject related to that one. So brush up on the subject related to the interview. Suppose you are going to be interviewed for the post of any medical assistant. Just for example, I just said it. When you are going to appear for medical assistant in any hospital, so you try to brush up your points on the subject related to the interview. When you are going to appear for civil services, brush up total knowledge, because everything is very important there for a civil servant, from A to Z, that you get yourself thorough for that one. Suppose you are appearing for an engineering job, you need to know what kind of the systems are there, what kind of the plans are there, what kind of the designs are there. So in that engineering sector, when you don't give the answers for that one, naturally you are going to get rejection. That every candidate has to think like this one. So prepare answer to some general questions. Remember, my dear friends, general questions may be asked. Where are you from? What is the importance of your native place? Whom do you like most? So where did you complete your graduation and PG? What is the importance of that particular educational institution? So you are going to face very general questions, common questions, so that you need to prepare answers for these general questions also well before the interview. Update yourself on recent developments. Update yourself on recent developments. Suppose you are going to appear for the interview next week. Suddenly in the interview board, just imagine an interview member is going to ask, "Excuse me, my dear friend," and across the world, all the people have been suffering from a fear of a disease. So basically started in China, and it was spread to all parts of the world. What is that? Why? Lot of red zones are created. So these green zones are created, and some yellow zones are created, and containment zones are created in cities like Hyderabad, cities like Bangalore, cities like Chennai, cities like Delhi. So some containment zones were created. What is this? Do you have any idea about this disease? What exactly this disease is? When you say the answer, "Sorry, sir, I have no idea," people simply laugh at your knowledge. You may be very intelligent in your subject, but you are supposed to know the recent developments. What's taking place? What is taking place? Like that. Next, fourth one. Arrange the papers and certificates neatly in a folder. You have to arrange all the certificates in a folder. So 10th class, intermediate, degree, PG, and all your awards, rewards, all the certificates that you have to arrange them in a systematic manner. Wear formal and comfortable dress for the interview. Don't very gorgeous dresses. Don't go as if you go for any fashion show. Wear all formal dresses because you should be mindful about that one. The dress should be very formal at the same time. So it should be situational, and so you should be comfortable also. When you wear all a very tight dress, when you go and sit like this, so I think you feel a lot of problem also. That's the reason. Don't wear any gaudy dresses, very tight dresses. Wear very comfortable dresses and very wear formal dress. Because you are not supposed to wear all the. You are supposed to wear modern dresses, but that dress should not be so very awkward. When people look at you, they don't feel that he is not going to be so suited for the job. Next, plan to reach the place of interview a little early. Tomorrow you are having interview. So at 10 o'clock tomorrow in the morning. So you are supposed to reach that interview hall or interview building. So just at least half an hour before or 1 hour before, because so before 1 hour actual interview is taken place, some verification will be done. That's the reason you are supposed to reach that interview hall well before the allotted hours. Next, after going to that area, familiarize yourself with the surroundings. You go there and make yourself familiarize. Where is the interview conducted? In which hall the interview is conducted? Where are the certificates verified? Where is the washroom? Where is the hall for taking rest? Where is the waiting hall? Like that, you have to familiarize with the surroundings so that you don't feel any tension, and no anxiety will be taken place in your mind. Sit in a relaxed position in the space provided. So all the candidates who are called for the interview, they are provided a particular hall for waiting, and you have to go there and sit in a relaxed mood. Don't be nervous. Don't be with don't sit with a lot of stress also. Think positively with pleasant thoughts. Think positively. Yeah, I have prepared very well, so I'm so confident, and I know pretty well that I'm going to perform very well. And if everything goes very well, I'm going to get employment. And with a positive mind, you think very happily, relax there. Remain calm till you are called in. So one by one is being called into the hall. So like that, till your turn comes, you just sit there and keep on watching, keep on waiting. Remain calm. Don't get yourself nervous. And that's the way. These are the ideas of preparing for interview. Preparing for interview. The next position, so facing the interview. So points to be remembered while getting yourself ready to face the interview, facing an interview. So what are the points that you have to keep in mind? Wait for your name to be announced. You just sit in your chair in a calm manner. When your name is called, then you go and just knock the door and take the permission and go inside. Till then, you just sit in your chair allotted and be calm. Unless your name is announced, you don't try to go and create any disturbance there. So there's a wait for your name to be announced. Next, knock or seek permission before you enter. Before you enter the hall, you knock the door, or otherwise, so take permission. Excuse me, sir, may I come inside? Or knock the door, and you find, so who is that? And sir, this is Sravan Kumar. This is Suresh. May I come in, sir? May I come in, madam? You take permission and go inside. So, going inside of the interview hall, what is the first thing that you have to do? Greet the people in the interview room formally in a pleasant manner. Say formally in a pleasant manner. Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am. Like that. In a very pleasant manner, you just greet them. So, and that gives very good opinion on you. The interviewers, they create very good impression about you in the very first instance. Next, do not sit down until you are asked to. A separate chair is meant for a candidate. You go there, but don't sit in the chair unless you are given permission to sit in the chair. So you wait for the permission. When they ask you, okay, my dear gentleman, my dear young lady, please take your seat. Then you settle down in the seat. So that maintain eye contact with the person speaking to you. Suppose one of the interview members ask a question to you. You try to give the answers to that particular person who has posed a question to you. You try to maintain that eye contact to that man or to that lady. When that A poses a question, you don't turn this side, B side, and gives answer to a B. This is quite, it looks very awkward and irrelevant also. That is not going to be a good quality of a candidate. Maintain proper, relaxed body posture. Next one. Maintain proper, relaxed body posture. You sit like this. Don't relax yourself on the chair and give the answers. And don't just fall so forward and just give the answers. You just sit in a very attention manner and give the answers. So try to maintain that kind of body posture, very very proper posture. Listen carefully to the question. You try to lend your ears. What questions are asked by the interview members? So listen carefully to the questions. Next one, maintain steady tone of voice. When you give your answers, maintain steady voice, neither high nor low. Maintain steady voice while you give answers. Ask politely to repeat the question if you do not understand. Suppose sometimes you know what happens, you don't understand the question properly. So you may request that member, excuse me, sir, if you don't mind, would you mind repeating the question in a very polite manner? When you asked, naturally the question may be repeated. Otherwise, don't ask like that. Sir, I didn't listen to your question. So come on. So ask the question once again. This is too much. This is too much. A candidate is not supposed to have this kind of attitude, and that is going to spoil your into performance. Avoid answering questions with just yes or no. Whenever you give answers, you say yes, sir. I know this answer. This is the answer I think, sir. No, sir. I have no idea. So don't say yes, no, without saying sir or without giving any respect to the elders. That's the reason. Don't stop by saying like yes, no, abruptly. You have to give the answers. If the answer is positive, you say that yes, sir, I know the answer. No, sir, I have no idea, sir. You should give the answers like this. Next one, do not feel embarrassed if you do not the answer. Do not feel embarrassed if you do not answer. For some questions, don't feel embarrassed. So there is no need that all the questions are going to be asked. If you know the answers, okay, you can give the answers. But don't feel embarrassed if you don't know the answer for any particular question. Do not get into arguments. So sometimes some candidates they get into argument with the members in the interview board. That should not be done. That is quite against to the rules of interviews. State your achievements simply and honestly. Suppose you have achieved certain wonderful achievements in your educational field or maybe in your previous job sector. You try to submit all your achievements in a prompt manner, in a honest manner, in a simple way. Do not boast about your knowledge and skills. Don't boast of your skills. Don't say very high about your skills because the interview members they are there to test your knowledge. You are not going to boast your knowledge. You may be very intelligent, but you try to present your knowledge when the questions are asked. Thank all the people in the interview room before walking out. Thank all the people the interview room. So thank all the people in the interview room before walking out. So when your interview is completed, when you are coming back, so you just thank to all the members in the interview board. Next, close the door softly, very behindly while walking out. So when you come outside, you close the door very, very silently, promptly, and that is the way that you can understand. And these are the two things that you understand it very well. So, sample interview. Shall we conduct sample interview? Yeah. So here is a sample interview that is given for you. May I come in, please, ma'am? Manager says, yes, please come in. Good morning. So candidate says, good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sir. Assistant manager, please sit down. Candidate, thank you, sir. Manager, could you begin by telling something about yourself? Candidate says like this, ma'am, I am from Vizag, but I grew up in Hyderabad. I'm married and I have a baby. Assistant manager asks a question. I assume you speak English, Telugu, and Hindi. Am I right? Candidate says, yes, sir. I also speak Tamil. Manager, why do you want to join our company? Candidate says, you are one of the leading publishers of law books in the country. With my experience, I hope I would contribute my service to the company to get to go further. Assistant manager, could you tell us what kind of salary you expect, please? Candidate says, I'm getting rupees 25,000 per month in my present job. I think anything a little over that could be okay. Manager, well, Mr. Kumar, we'll get back to you in a week's time. Candidate says, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. This is the sample interview that I have given to you. So interview is conducted, how what atmosphere interview was conducted. So here is the candidate Kumar has gone inside and went on giving answers, whatever to the questions are posed by the interview members. In the sample interview, we are able to find the manager of the company is there, the assistant manager of the company is there. They put some questions to this uh, aspirant, and the aspirant, Mr. Kumar, gave very clearly, very prompt answers. In that way, I think he is going to get selection. And this is the way that everyone has to do it. And in the conclusion part, my dear friends, success in interview, it depends on how you prepare and how you face the interview. As I told you already, two steps are there. You have to keep all those points in the two steps. Preparing for interview, facing the interview. So in the first step, some points have been given to you for your kind information. You just keep all those points in your mind, and so while facing the interview also, you keep all these points in your mind and perform your interview, and definitely success will be yours. Success will be yours by following by practicing above cited points that you have to keep in your mind. Success will come very, very easily for those candidates who always plan, who always perform, who always execute all the preparation in a very exact manner, in the demanded manner, in the way, in a very, very sophisticated manner. So, success is not something that can be so, taken very easily. So, especially I'm talking about this success in interview, because today interview is conducted for every job from class 4 to class 1 job. From group A to group 4, the interviews are being conducted. That is the reason. So every young graduate or every young postgraduate has to keep in the mind how best you perform and how best you are going to achieve. And because this is the very highly competitive scenario, in this highly competitive scenario, every candidate has to keep in the mind so the best points in the mind and has to perform very well in the interview. In that way, success is going to be yours only. Keep in your mind all these points, and I hope that everyone has understood very well, and I'm sure that success is going to be yours only. Success is going to be at your doorstep, and definitely you are going to be in the good position by practicing these two steps and the points which have been referred under these two headings. And in that way, and you can get success in the interview. In that way, shall I take leave from you? And really, I feel very happy with interacting with you and telling the points how to prepare and how to face the interview and how to gain success in the interview. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.